Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. Today we're doing some wiring, and I just wanted to kind of cover what I'm doing. And I think it'll work out pretty nice. I'm basically turning the benches into their own power unit. All you need is a power source. So on the lathe bench, I put my main breaker box. It's the one that I power everything to, and that's the newest one. That's the 200 amp breaker box that I ended up having to buy when I set up the shop in my camper. So I just took it out of the camper, and I've been using it. It's my main power source. So then I took the other 200. I had a 200, a 100, and a sub panel. The sub panel don't have a breaker, so it's going to have to be put to a breaker. You can't run it to the main. You got to have something to break. Anyway, so I'm running the drill press bench breaker box over to here. Right now I'm trying to work on a way to make it so that the drill press bench plugs into the lathe bench. So then I want to try to do the same thing with the other bench, but I'm out of plugs, and I'm still searching for my plug. I can't find it, the one I had for my welder, which kind of sucks. I need two of the 4 prongs, and for female and male, and I've only got the 3 prong. So I want every box to be 220 capable. So I'll walk you around here and show you what I'm doing. So this one here is my main breaker panel, and it's live right now. So now we're trying to get, and this is what I'm using. Basically what this is, let me turn some light on here. It's a 4-wire, red, black, white, and shield, or copper. And when I was in Winston-Salem, when I was hooking my shop up in the camper, I ran this wire inside of a oversized water hose. And believe me, that was not a task that I would wish on anybody. I mean to tell you, that was hard to get that thing through there, because you could run a rope through or some kind of a line, but then you'd have to pull the line. It'd have to be long enough to get through. So we had to use electrical wire to just use one, hook to it, and pull it through. And we had to keep pulling that thing back out and straighten it, because every little bend adds up to a real stiff way of getting through that hose. And that was pretty much stiff garden hose too, so neither one of them wanted to give. So that was a job, but I got it. Now I'm cutting it up, and that wire is going from there to there. So that the other end right there is over here in this box. And we brought it in the side here and used bigger clamps so that we can clamp the hose and not the wire, because you can clamp them things too tight on a wire and it'll push them together and you'll start an arc. So this hose goes all the way up in there. And we got the red and the black hooked to hot, white to neutral, green to ground. Had to fix that one. Well, green. Copper to ground. I had to fix that. The hole had broke out in the plastic or whatever that material is. And it had arced for some time, and I saved it. So I got it just in time. And that one is a 200 amp breaker box too. All right. Now we're trying to get this so that I still have enough of this covered wire to make an extension cord for the other one. But the other bench, which is my welding bench, which I need 6 or 30 amp for the welder, 20 amp for the MIG welder, and I'm just gonna make everything 20 amp. We're working off of a 100 amp service, so the welder will take, it says 23 amps, so I would imagine 30 amp breaker would be fine for that Harbor Freight stick and TIG welder. And the MIG welder shouldn't need more than 20. So all these are 20 amp outlets, and we got a 30 and we got two 20s, and then we got 2 extra ones for when I add something else. Who knows, maybe I'll put a light over my toolbox. Anyway, so now we need to find a way to plug that one up over there. And I'm thinking about putting some kind of a, gonna move all this stuff, but put a panel here going up, and that would kind of hide the back wall a little bit too, because that back wall looks awful. Somebody didn't paint very good. Anyway, I want to put an outlet here so that all I have to do is just take the drill press bench and plug it right in. So, and that would probably work in any shop that I have. If all these will fit, they would all pretty much reach each other, depending on your orientation. But that's what we're working with. I was going to put one of my panels in here, but I decided nope. This panel is running off of a 100 amp breaker off of the house, and I ran it direct. So all these, well, this one here will be running off of a 100 amp breaker at the house. And that was what they had in. So I got to stick with a 100 amp service. Now it doesn't matter on this box over here that it is a 200 amp. The reason that it doesn't matter is because if something was to draw over 100 amps, the 100 amps would still be going through the breaker and the leads going to the plug and all the way up to the house. So the house one, the very first one in line, is the one that you cannot exceed. So if this will carry 200 amps, if this will never reach to 101, because the 100 amp breaker is going to blow. So, or trip. So it doesn't matter if you have a big 200 amp box, because the current's still going through the same kind of material. Common sense. Anyway, so that's where we're at, and I'm just trying to find my wire and find my plugs, and I'm trying to do this in a way that I have enough to go from that breaker box over there over to the welder bench, and then that one will take care of the welder bench and vice bench or whatever grinder. It's got a new tool on it now. I think it's found at a home. A scroll saw. That thing, you can see how much dust is on it. How often it gets used. This thing, I haven't used this thing in years. But I keep putting it on the bench. And never find a call for it because I just don't like it. It's a Harbor Freight, and I tried to redesign the swivel here, and it's pretty crude swivel. And it's got a thumb screw there that goes in and pinches the blade. Let's see if it'll work. It should. Yeah, it's doing alright. But I don't do enough scroll sawing to make it worth my while. So, anyway, that's my electrical plan. Now, I know I'm going to have all these electricians that know it all but can't get dressed in the morning that are going to complain. Just go and get out of here. There you have the bench wiring in progress. And we're going to add some outlets, I believe. I'd like to have one here. I'd like to have one on each end of all my benches. And I want to put one on each end of the drill press bench. And I want to put another one on the end where my toolbox is. So that will pretty much take care of anything, because I'm not really going to be doing a whole lot near the fire. And, you know, everything's pretty much concentrated in this area. But I hope you like how neat my job is. I'm trying to do a pretty neat job, trying to make each bench stand out so that once I'm done, I can get me a nice picture of it and send it to Shops of America magazine. Well, guys, it's the next day, and I've gotten somewhere on this job, and I think it's about the safest that I can be. So anyway, instead of me plugging the drill press bench into the lathe bench, I decided to go ahead and just wire it to its own breaker. What are you after over there? She caught a mouse yesterday. It wasn't the one we've seen before. But anyway, I just took it and ran it to a 100 amp breaker. So I've got this one here. I thought was a 200 amp breaker box, but it's actually just a sub panel. At least that's what I'm calling it. Usually if they don't have a main breaker, I call them a sub panel. Now I might be wrong, but that's just Bison's way. This one's actually a 100 right now. I could probably get a 200 amp breaker and put in it and turn it into a 200 amp breaker box, but it's really unnecessary when I only have 100 amp service. So, and that's all I've ever run my shop off of, and I've never had any issues. So, I'll show you what we did. And I even got my tester in there to show you guys it's correct. On the drill press bench, we put an outlet here and an outlet over here. So now this heater is on a 20 amp breaker, which is, we got to remark our box because all these here don't mean nothing. So I'm putting new labels in. So we got the welder bench, which is 100 amp. All of them's 100 amp. Don't matter if this is 200 amp. We already covered that. And then we've got the outlets that's on the wall on this breaker, and the outlets that are down here on each end is right here, and that's marked bottom outlets. Backboard outlets, which is this, and self-explanatory. So I got all this I can add to it if I ever want to. Which one of these is going to be added to the bench or the mill bench? The mill bench is going to be as a it's going to have its own outlet. So we're probably going to run a separate outlet to mount to the bench here somewhere, or make something work so that all I have to do is plug it in. So it'll have a separate outlet. That way in the box it'll be marked mill, which will probably be on a 20 amp breaker also. So this one will get moved down to here, and then this one will be put up here, because I like to try to keep all the ones I'm using close together. I didn't know what I was going to do with this one. I've never seen one that's where all four of them go at the same time. I'm not understanding that. Maybe this one can be separated and made 4 different outlet or breakers. I'm not sure how that works. I know that some of your double breakers, you can't split them because of the way they're put together. Some of them you can, by just pulling the pin in this bracket here. Actually, these two here are together and these two are separate. So this makes no sense to me why they have these separated so far apart. Maybe so they could use more metal. Who knows, right? So everything's going to be pretty much on its own breaker. And I won't be overloading the, I think it was a 20 amp breaker they had everything on. Put it this way, I can't run both my electric heaters on the wiring that's existing in this shop. It blows the breakers every time. So I'm just going to use the main garage outlets for minor stuff like plugging in grinders or lights, or something, chargers, battery chargers, stuff like that. It's not like you're using every tool in your shop at the same time, so it ought to handle all that. And then everything that requires power is going to be all individualized. So these are turning out to be pretty nice benches. I've got a lot of work left to do to them. Like once I get them where I want them, then I can start working on cosmetics. So I got to, make this year. I didn't screw it down because I just didn't want a whole bunch of screws across the front of this, making that look terrible. So this will get glued down, but I want to get some trim for it, but I got to get all my drawers the way I want them. I'm thinking about making drawers right here out of these plastic trays I'll show you, or drawers, if you will. See, I got 5 of these that would make nice drawers right there. So I'm going to put a bottom in this so that these drawers you can set on there and you can pull them out if you want to. And I'll have all 5 of them going across there. And it's just a lot of different stuff that needs to be done when you're building a shop, because you want everything to be as accessible as you can possibly get it and have all your options. Remember, I've also got the roll bench that is also plugged in. Now that I will plug on the existing wiring that was in the shop, simply because you only got a table saw and a band saw, and both of them are not over 20 amp. So that'll work. So no matter where I plug that bench in, the roll bench, I'll be good. So there you have it. All my benches being powered by themselves. So this will work. It's all about that access. It's all about that what you can do with the least amount of effort. But it takes a lot of work to get it to that point. And I'm getting pretty good at setting this shop up. I shouldn't be that good at it. That means you're moving too damn much. So, but I think I made a good move this time. This is a nice shop, and it's going to be a really nice shop by the time I get done. Now, as soon as I get done, that'll be the time that somebody will piss in somebody's Wheaties, and you'll have to change the cornflakes. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to have your Trump coffee, which is in a peace cup today. And hope my man wins. I believe he's got it. Joe Biden puts me in the mind of a 2-year-old. Well, actually both of them do, because neither one of them can have an intelligent conversation without blaming somebody for something. That's all Biden's doing, playing the blame game, Just remember, not too long ago, they were buddy-buddy, they shared the same meetings, they did all the same stuff, they hung out more than anybody, wife and husband, and all of a sudden now, everything that Trump did was wrong. So isn't he blaming himself? Because he was there. Oh, but then he got to blame Trump because he didn't make the right decision. Yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.